Good Day Chicago at 7 starts now.
And right now at 7, an arrest has been made in a deadly stabbing that happened on a CTA train. We're going to talk about what led police to the suspect.
President Trump threatening to pull funding to sanctuary cities. How Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is responding to that.
And the head coach of the Rams, the incoming Rams, Sean McVay, has some high praise for Caleb Williams and the Bears ahead of their big Sunday playoff game.
And we want to take you outside right now. Temperature's not too shabby. We saw some record highs yesterday, but things will be falling later today, and not just the temperatures.
They're going to get shabby later,
yeah,
right?
That's a good way of describing them. Shabby temperatures. It's my second book.
There you go.
Temperatures are in the process of really going down in a hurry now. The winds have picked up. Snow is overspreading the area, and that snow is going to be coming into the city in the next hour or so, which is going to have some impact on the commute here. So let's talk about it. Planning your day. We got snow showers for the next couple of hours with temperatures quickly dropping. Should be around 26 at O'Hare in the next 2 hours. 22 at noon, blustering cold. I think the snow will be out of here by then, except the lake effect. Windy and cold, 4 o'clock, some peaks of sunshine, 21 degrees. But here are the headlines. Much colder through next week, reminding you it's January. Those snow showers this morning, lake effect for Michiana in the wake of that, then occasional light snow Thursday night, right on through Saturday, maybe even to Sunday. 38 with snow coming down at O'Hare, but still above freezing there. Northwest winds at 17, really howling, and we're seeing some gusts close to 40. And the temperatures, look what's happened. It's 27 degrees at Waukegan, 30 at Woodstock, but still 41 degrees at Gary. We'll look at the radar, time to departure of these snow showers a little bit. But Gabriella, I think that the visibilities are going to be getting worse here pretty quick over the city.
Yeah, here it comes. Our fun's over, I guess, with that 10-day stretch of nice weather that we had. Yeah, we're starting to see Lake County really get dumped on, at least from some of those traffic cameras, Mike. It's looking like right now. So patchy ice reported up in Lake County, some snow over in our western burbs, and of course you might see some wet roads around other parts of the area, so please be careful, take some extra time. Those two earlier crashes on I-55 have been cleared. One was at Route 53, both on the northbound side. That was on the exit ramp, and then also closer to Cicero Avenue that reported rollover that was blocking 2 left lanes. Let's talk about what's happening in Lake County. So this isn't a look at the crash because the traffic camera wasn't pointing this way, but there is one reported at Lewis Avenue at State Road 137. But this is right next to it, and you can see those snow-covered roads, those snow-covered intersections. Again, please take your time. Luckily, that salt should work because we're seeing higher road temperatures right now. But still, like I said, make sure to leave yourself an extra couple of minutes. Here are your drive times right now. Getting a little bit higher on the Kennedy, where we might be starting to see some of that snow. 45 minutes for your inbound trip from O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes on the Eisenhower. 40 minutes still on the Stevenson because of that residual delay from the earlier crashes. 30 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn interchange. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Gabby. Charges have been filed this morning in the stabbing and killing of a man on the CTA Blue Line. This happened over the weekend.
Roseanne joins us live with more on the surprising evidence that police say they have. Roseanne?
Well, police say the suspect recorded the crime on his phone, and there's CTA surveillance video that supports it. Police arrested Demetrius Thurman Sunday at Canal and Adams. The court documents say he walked up to a man sleeping on a Blue Line train, pulled a knife, stabbed him to death, and recorded the whole thing on his phone. Just a few weeks ago, the CTA beefed up security with more Chicago police and private security guards. Well, some riders tell us they feel safe. Alderman Jim Gardner says CTA security should be a higher priority.
I've never had any problems. I've been riding the CTA for 5-6 years and never had any incidents myself, but I've definitely heard some stories, so it's kind of up to everyone's own experience.
But you feel safe?
Yeah, I personally think I feel safe.
We have 135 full-time officers that are assigned to our buses and our trains. We have 150 officers assigned to our mayor's detail. Just to give you an example, to protect one person.
Now, Alderman Gardner offers up this eye-opening number. Chicago, as he mentioned, 135 police officers on the trains. In New York, that number, 2,500. Now, of course, New York City has 3 times the population, but he says that task force is actually 18 times the size of ours. We did reach out to the CTA. They say that they try to be strategic with the deployment of the resources that they have, and they coordinate with CPD on crime data and all the latest trends to make sure they're putting those officers in the best places that they can. And here comes that storm. Back to you guys now in the studio.
I was just noticing that. I'm like, we're going to lose Roseanne. All right, thanks so much, Roseanne.
It is whipping in.
It's getting gusty. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is going after President Trump and his office for his threats to withhold funding from sanctuary cities.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
The president made the comments yesterday. Mayor Johnson says the move is blatantly unconstitutional and immoral. The mayor says in part Chicagoans pay billions in federal taxes, and it is far past time that we receive our just due from the federal government.
Anti-ICE demonstrations continue in Minneapolis as tensions rise between agents and the public.
Brian's in studio with the latest there.
Federal agents deployed tear gas, pepper spray, and flashbangs during a massive clash with the crowd. This was the scene yesterday, just blocks from where an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good. Several federal prosecutors have resigned yesterday over the Justice Department's decision not to conduct a civil rights investigation into that shooting. The agency says that there is currently no justification for further inquiry. This week, the Department of Homeland Security deployed hundreds of additional agents to Minnesota.
What we are seeing is thousands, plural, thousands of federal agents coming into our city.
If they would work with us and let us arrest the criminal illegal alien in the safety and security of a county jail, we wouldn't have to go to the community to find them.
The FBI is still investigating to determine whether or not the agent who shot and killed Good acted in self-defense. Anthony?
All right, thank you, Brian. Cicero police are searching for the person responsible for the shooting death of a 17-year-old boy. Police say Johan Adari was shot last Thursday right near Morton East High School. They have released images of the alleged shooter running away, and in the image you're about to see, he was possibly holding a gun right there in his, looks like his right hand there. Family members say that the teenager was being bullied by the alleged shooter and reported the issue to the school multiple times. They say nothing was done.
They are very concerned with the situation, and it's really hard to explain how they feel to see the person who took their child's life is still not behind bars, and there is also fear about retaliation if we speak up.
We did reach out to the school district regarding the claims by the family about bullying. We have not heard back. Meantime, there is a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. 2 other teens have been arrested and charged in a sexual assault case out of Naperville. Police say 17-year-old James Patterson and a 15-year-old boy sexually assaulted a female acquaintance. Patterson is being charged as an adult here. Police say this alleged assault happened in the bathroom of a Walgreens location on Ogden Avenue. The victim told store employees what had happened. Police arrested both teens shortly after the alleged incident. They say Patterson was in possession of the victim's cell phone. Other news, the husband of Caitlin Tracy, whose body was found at the bottom of a stairwell at a South Loop condo building, is charged with first-degree murder. 47-year-old Adam Beckerink was in court yesterday. Prosecutors accuse him of throwing Tracy over the 24th floor railing in the east stairwell of that building back in 2024.
Hours are being expanded at Illinois Secretary of State offices ahead of the TSA's new Real ID penalty that's taking effect. Starting February 1st, travelers will be charged $45 for not having a real ID, a passport, or other acceptable forms of identification. We do have a reminder, there is a walk-in supercenter on North Clark. The location's lease has been extended through the end of the year. The Bears will look to keep their playoff run alive when they host the Rams on Sunday.
Slowing down the Rams offense. This is going to be the biggest challenge here. Bears coaches are already game planning a way to try to contain the NFL's best offense. Rams QB Matthew Stafford led the league. He threw for over 4,700 yards and 46 touchdown passes. He is a front runner for league MVP. He's also teamed up with one of the game's most respected coaches in Sean McVay, who talked about what he has seen thus far this season out of Caleb Williams and the Bears.
I think there's a belief that they've established. And I think when you have those types of successful outcomes, no different than Matthew the other day, I think he had full expectation to lead us down the field. I feel that when I watch Caleb and I watch that team. There's a belief that they can find ways to finish, and that's why they're in this situation. But he's going to be a nightmare to defend, and we're excited about diving into this prep because here we freaking go, man.
And make sure you tune in for Bears Game Day Live on Sunday starting at 12:30 p.m. We'll have the latest on injuries. Hopefully there are none. Headlines and other important factors of the game. And then right after the game ends, tune in for our post-game coverage as well. All right, right now, our eyes are on the sky, and boy, you can't see anything out there, Mike.
Because the snow has arrived in the city. Yeah, we've been watching this stuff come out of Wisconsin, and it has now moved into northern Illinois and Chicagoland, and it is covering pretty quickly here. In some cases, the snow's coming out pretty hard, magnified somewhat by these gusty winds. So let's look at the radar. Where you see darker shades of blue, that's where the snow is coming down a little bit more heavily. Let me maybe highlight that for you. You know, in this general area, that is where the snow is a little bit heavier. And if I had to pick an area that might get, you know, a half inch of accumulation, I'm kind of going in that area right there. But another couple hours of snow, the trend will be for the snow to diminish, except for you guys right in here. That is where that lake effect is really going to be ramping up here later on, and you're going to get some significant snow out of this thing. In fact, you've got winter weather advisory in Porter County, winter storm warnings in LaPorte and Berrien County. There could be somebody in Berrien County in particular that gets more than a foot of snow out of this thing before it all starts to wind down tomorrow. Temperatures are on the way down. Our high was 42 back at midnight. It's dropped to 27 at Waukegan, where a record high was set yesterday of 53. 39 at Midway, still 41 at Gary. But once that snow really starts to fall, temperatures are going to drop precipitously here. The afternoon hours will be in the 20s with wind chills in the single digits. Snow in the morning, enough to coat the ground. Northwest winds are going to be blowing at 15 to 30 miles per hour, and then that lake effect will get going a little later on. I'll show you how cold temperatures are going to be for that Bears game in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. The death toll from protests in Iran is skyrocketing as President Trump issues a new warning to leaders there. There's been a settlement this morning in a civil suit against Boeing that was filed right here in Chicago.
Opening statements. This is supposed to go to trial. They were supposed to happen this morning. However, Clifford law offices say right at the last minute here, the family and Boeing reached a settlement. This case involves the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX 8 on takeoff in Ethiopia back in 2019.
Cicero police searching for the person responsible for the shooting death of this 17-year-old. Police say Johan Ottery was shot last Thursday near Morton East High School. They released images of the alleged shooter running away while possibly holding a gun. There is a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is going after President Trump and his office for his threats to withhold all federal funding from sanctuary cities. Mayor Johnson calls this move, quote, blatantly unconstitutional and immoral.
At least 2,500 people have died in Iran as the government continues cracking down on widespread protests. Roughly 18,000 people have been arrested. President Trump is urging protesters to not give up, even telling them to take over their country's institutions. He has canceled meetings with Iranian officials, saying he won't talk until the killing of protesters stops.
The message is they've got to show humanity. They've got a big problem, and I hope they're not going to be killing people. And I'm going to have a report very soon. It would seem to me that they have been badly misbehaving, but that is not confirmed.
The Iranian government has shut off internet access. It's been very difficult to independently verify what exactly is happening there. President Trump has yet to rule out military intervention.
The president just doubled down on Greenland this morning with Danish and Greenland officials in D.C. for a meeting. On Truth Social, the president said anything less than U.S. control of Greenland is unacceptable and claimed that NATO should be leading the way for the U.S. to claim Greenland. Denmark, which is a NATO member, has control of it. The vice president is supposed to meet with Danish and Greenlandic officials today.
President Trump responded to a heckler at a Ford plant in Michigan with a middle finger. TMZ shared video of the incident. The White House communications director didn't confirm whether Trump actually gave the finger, but said it was a, quote, appropriate and unambiguous response. Fox News is reporting that that Ford worker has been suspended.
All right, it's 7:18 and time to check back in with Mike Kaplan. Not much of a view there. Over Lakeshore Drive at Oak Street. You can see, I mean, yeah, all hazy from the snow, I'm guessing.
Bingo. You have nailed it, sir. We have snow falling now in the city. It has been snowing for a couple of hours in the northern suburbs, enough to coat the ground, and temperatures are falling. Now, when I show you the current temperatures, there's still a lot of Chicagoland that is above freezing, but it is, I'm cheating. I'm looking at a camera that Gabby's going to have here. This is off of Deep Lake Road and Grand Avenue where I see snow covering the ground. All right, you can see the snow is in blue here on this radar image. Where you see the darker shades of blue, it's snowing a little bit harder, and that snow is advancing on the Chicago area. This is not the lake effect, by the way. That lake effect snow, that is prompting the winter weather advisory in Porter County, winter storm warnings, LaPorte, Berrien County, and over towards the South Bend area. Somebody in there could get a foot of snow between later today and tomorrow late morning. That will not be the case in the Chicago area. We're still going to see some snow. It just won't be that heavy. Our futurecast picking up on some of the snow that is in the area. Today, our high already happened. It was 42 back at midnight. Now we're falling to the 30s. We're going to get eventually into the 20s. Let's show you the current temperatures, in fact. Where the snow has been coming down a little bit longer, it's below freezing. 27 at Waukegan, 29 at Woodstock. Look at the O'Hare number. Just dropped 3 degrees like that. 32 there. I expect a similar immediate drop in places like Midway and Gary, where it's still well above freezing. 7-day forecast. You got a lot of cold and a little bit of snow in there right on across the board. 25, that's it tomorrow, with some light snow coming back tomorrow night into early Friday. We'll get briefly above freezing Friday. Then Friday night into Saturday on a cold front, it snows again, maybe an inch or so. And then very cold, just in time for the Rams game on Sunday evening, a high of 18. Could be a brief snow shower there. On the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, 20 for the high. Looks like a dry day, and then 18 degrees on Tuesday. So let's check in with Gabriella, and we're starting to see some snow sticking, especially north.
Mike, we definitely are, and you can see by this map, this pink indicates where we see some patchy ice. Last time I had my report, it was closer into Lake County, and now it's slowly making its way down closer to Chicago. Please be careful if you're taking the Kennedy, well, any of our expressways. Even though it's a little bit of snow, it does make a kind of a big impact. Let's talk about some of the situations we're seeing up in Lake County. I kind of had to pick a bundle because I wanted the best cameras to show you. Mike already kind of gave this one away. It's over in Lake Villa. This is a look at that intersection. It looks like this is the crash here involving a plow truck, actually, and a car here. It's at Deep Lake Road in Illinois, 132. I had to cheat up there and look at the script. But yes, it looks like it might be a little bit of slippery conditions. Same just south of this, over where we have another crash reported at Rollins and Hook. So please take your time. Your drive times are looking much more heavy on the Kennedy, around 50 minutes right now from O'Hare to downtown. People are adjusting their driving to the weather conditions out there. Anthony, I'll send it to you for now.
Yeah, probably good morning to kind of slow down, take your time. Gabby, thank you so much. We got plenty more to get to here on Good Day Chicago. State lawmakers, they are back in Springfield. Got a wide range of topics to discuss, including funding or lack thereof for a new Bears stadium. The World Cup comes to North America this summer. Hotels, guess what? They're already filling up. And the University of Illinois football fans, they will notice a massive change to the stadium next season. We will explain.
Fox.
All right, welcome back. State lawmakers, they are back in Springfield this week, and there are many hot issues on the docket here. That includes funding for the new Bears Stadium.
The Republican and Democratic leaders of the Illinois House joined our Paris Schutz on the Chicago Report last night to give us a preview.
So let's start with the topic du jour, Representative Buckner. Now that the Bears are surveying sites in Indiana, lawmakers are potentially going to come forward with a proposal pretty soon. Does that get you to the table any quicker with the Bears to try and perhaps help them with their legislation?
We've never left the table, Paris. We have been open to having conversations about what the future looks like for the Chicago Bears. We have said that we are open to having infrastructure conversations, and we want them to come to the table with a plan that works for the people of Illinois. And so, they today or yesterday put out a survey after they already threatened to move to Indiana, asking people what they thought about it. Once again, the way they've done this is just weird to me. But we're at the table. We've been at the table, and we are welcoming them back to the table.
Leader McComey, and what they want out of Springfield is this legislation that would give them the ability to negotiate their property tax rates with the village instead of pay whatever the assessed value is going to be every year. And they're saying they need this to get investor money. They want the certainty. Is that too much to ask for this team that is vowing to build the stadium all with their own money?
Like I said from the beginning, a public-private partnership is the way to get this done. Certainly, I hope Republicans are also at the table with Democrats and the Chicago Bears to have these conversations. I wouldn't support a mega project bill like we saw during veto session, and basically that is because it takes away some local control, and quite honestly, it was too broad. So it would really be the devil in the details for us.
And Representative Buckner, I mean, you've called this ask from them tax breaks, you know, for billion-dollar corporation. What they have said repeatedly is they need this certainty to get that institutional money, that bank money, so they can start building. Is that a fair argument?
I think it's an argument or a conversation that we can have, but once again, the Bears have to be honest and forthcoming about this. Today, they're saying that they don't want money to build the actual stadium. They were not saying that a year ago. They asked us for $2 billion just about 12 months ago. They've changed their story so many times. What we do know for sure is that they have said that they cannot move forward without some kind of infusion or some kind of alignment from the legislature, and we've said we're willing to have those conversations. But the Bears should once again be honest about the fact that they want to build, and they have said, they have indicated that there's no way for them to build without being down with OPP, other people's paper. That's what they're doing. So we should have that conversation.
Representative McComey, is it going to be a big loss for Illinois? Say if Indiana comes forward with a big tax incentive plan and the Bears say, okay, you know what? We're going to pack our bags, we're going to cross the border, we're going to go to Wolf Lake or somewhere around there.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing, quite honestly, if we saw the Chicago Bears now in Indiana. And it's interesting, you know, my friend on the other side of the aisle, it seems that, you know, oftentimes when you're talking about OPP, that we're spending people's money all of the time for priorities that are not their own. So I just hope that also the General Assembly is transparent on all of this as well.
Representative Buckner, what about you? I mean, you've been very, forceful in, blocking their move out of Soldier Field and making sure that there's no taxpayer money involved. But is it a bigger political loss if the Bears say, you know what, we're done with negotiations here, we're going to Indiana?
We've been very clear about this. I want the Bears to play in Chicago. I think all of us want the Bears to play in Illinois, and we've had that conversation. We've been very forthcoming about that. What also is true is that the Bears have to be able to, be honest brokers, which they have not been up until this point. Chicago is the city that made them. Illinois is the state that made them. They started 100+ years ago in Decatur. We should have a conversation about their commitment to the state. They've threatened to leave in a way that is supposed to create some leverage. I think they're doing the wrong thing for their brand. And frankly, the NFL is not trying to have a hole in their market in the Chicago area.
There you have it. You can see that full interview on our website, fox32chicago.com.
All right. On that note, let's send it over to Mike Kaplan. Soldier Field going to be a cold place on Sunday.
Absolutely. Temperatures will be in the teens for that game. Snow is becoming a bigger issue this morning with some light accumulations taking place. And due to a flash freeze, a little bit of ice forming on some roadways. Not too bad downtown, but northern suburbs getting hit pretty hard. Let you know when the snow's moving on out of here. It's going to be a while before we have 50-degree temperatures again, too. We'll be right back.
You are watching Good Day Chicago. It is now 7:31.
Thanks for joining us this Wednesday morning. Here's a look at some of the headlines we're following. Multiple prosecutors have resigned from the Minneapolis U.S. Attorney's Office. They are citing concerns over the investigation into Renee Nicole Good's death. On Capitol Hill, members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus said they will not vote for any funding bills supporting immigration enforcement. DHS, meantime, is doubling down, saying that the mission is about ensuring safety and security.
More than 2,500 people have been killed in Iran as the government cracks down on demonstrations. More than 18,000 protesters have been detained as the head of Iran's judiciary is promising quick trials and executions for those arrested.
Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton are refusing to comply with a congressional subpoena related to Jeffrey Epstein. They have been asked to testify in front of a House committee, but the Clintons refused, stating in a letter that the process is designed to result in their imprisonment. And the husband of a woman found dead in a South Loop condo building more than 1 year ago appeared before a Cook County judge on Tuesday.
Chicago tax attorney Adam Beckerink is facing charges accused in the murder of Caitlin Tracy. Casey Cronus has more.
Adam Beckerink was extradited from Michigan this week, where he was serving time for separate domestic violence charges. This case dates back to October of 2024, when 36-year-old Caitlin Tracy was found dead at the bottom of a stairwell. For 1 year, no one was charged in her death, but that changed a few months ago when a warrant was issued for his arrest. Beckerink, who is 47, is now officially booked into the Cook County Jail, charged with first-degree murder. The couple lived in the South Loop, where prosecutors say Beckerink threw Tracy down the stairs. He was arrested by Chicago police officers and U.S. Marshals in Berrien County, Michigan, as he was released from jail Monday after serving time for domestic abuse charges. Tracy's parents were in court here in Cook County as Beckerink faced a judge. He was wearing slacks, dress shoes, and a blue hoodie. The hearing was brief and has been continued until Friday. Beckerink's attorney telling the judge he needs time to review the hundreds of pages of documents submitted by prosecutors and will consider whether cameras should be allowed in the courtroom during trial. A Tracy family spokesperson shared this statement after the hearing.
The CPD has worked long and hard to investigate this case. Although the defendant's criminal convictions and sentence in Michigan brought some measure of justice for Caitlin, he must now be held accountable for his actions in the days and months that led to this moment. The state's charge that he murdered their beautiful daughter. We hope that justice will prevail and we can finally lay our dear Caitlin to rest.
After announcing the charges, Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke shared in part, with these charges, we are sending a strong message. Violent crimes rooted in domestic abuse will be aggressively prosecuted as we work to bring justice to families and protect survivors. Beckerink's attorney has not yet responded to our request for comment. Beckerink will be held in jail until at least this Friday, when he is due to reappear in court. Reporting at the Layton Criminal Courthouse, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
I'm Brian Jackson with some of the top stories we're following for you this morning. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is going after President Trump for his threats to withhold funding from sanctuary cities.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
The president making those comments yesterday. Mayor Johnson says the move is blatantly unconstitutional and immoral. The mayor says, in part, Chicagoans pay billions in federal taxes, and it is far past time that we receive our just due from the federal government. Cicero police are searching for the person responsible for the shooting death of a 17-year-old teen. Police say that Johan Adari was shot last Thursday near Morton East High School. They released images of the alleged shooter running away while possibly holding a gun. Family members said that the teen was being bullied by this alleged shooter and that they reported the issue to the school multiple times, but nothing was done.
They're very concerned with the situation, and it's really hard to explain how they feel to see the person who took their child's life is still not behind bars, and there is also fear about retaliation if we speak up.
We have reached out to the district regarding those claims of bullying. So far, we have not heard back. There is currently a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. Also, new details in the death of a Chicago teacher whose body was found after being reported missing for more than a week. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office has ruled 53-year-old Linda Brown took her own life by drowning. Her body was recovered from Lake Michigan on Monday. Now, if you or a loved one is in need of help, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. We have that number for you on your screen at 988. There is support for you 24/7. Well, the president just upped the drama for talks about Greenland today. This morning on Truth Social, he said that anything less than U.S. control of Greenland is unacceptable and that NATO should be pushing for U.S. control. The vice president is supposed to meet with officials from Denmark and Greenland today. Denmark, which is a NATO ally, currently controls Greenland. Illinois Representative Robin Kelly is moving forward with an effort to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. On the U.S. House floor yesterday, Kelly officially introduced articles of impeachment. She says Noem has obstructed Congress by not allowing lawmakers into detention facilities, violated public trust by directing ICE agents to make arrests without warrants, and abused her power for her personal benefits. All right, time is now 7:38 as we check in with Mike for a look at the forecast, and that looks like snow.
It is, and I was looking at those pictures from Greenland. Parts of Chicagoland are looking like that right now. This has become an overachiever. I'll take one on the chin here. The snow is definitely coming down much harder, certainly than I expected. It had snow in the forecast, but if you're in Lake McHenry, even now northern Cook, northern Kane County, you may have as much as 2 inches of snow on the ground. Just heard from my friend Christian in the Wadsworth area. He's already plowed once with 2 inches on the ground. They've got almost another inch. It's 27 at Waukegan, 30 now at O'Hare. Still above freezing. Southern portions of Chicagoland, but that cold air will not be stopped. It is drilling in here on the strength of very high winds. Look at the 24-hour temperature difference now. It has dropped 10 degrees at O'Hare, 12 degrees from 7 a.m. yesterday in the Waukegan area. And look at these winds. Wow. 56-mile-per-hour wind gusts at Aurora. That's almost as strong as a severe thunderstorm wind, which would be 58 miles per hour. These northwest winds really kind of creating a snow globe out there as the snow overspreads more of Chicagoland. That's contributing to the reduction in visibility. Right now, half-mile visibility at O'Hare. You got a flight, probably going to be some delays out there. Can't speak to that for sure, but would not be surprised. And we have a new winter weather advisory, all of southern Wisconsin, southeast Wisconsin. That'll be in effect until 10. We also have Porter County winter storm warnings. LaPorte and Berrien County, that's where the lake effect is going to crank up. But this snow means business, and maybe we got a short fuse winter weather advisory for the Chicago area. Whether we do or not, here's the story. The next couple of hours, we have snow falling, gusty winds, flash freeze taking place. It's going to be really slick out there. Our high happened already. It was 42. Now temperatures are drilling into the 20s. Tonight down to 15. The snow will be over, except in that lake effect snow belt. 7-day forecast characterized by cold, especially on Sunday for that Bears game. And some more snow comes back to the area Thursday night into Friday and Saturday, maybe even a brief snow shower on Sunday. 7:40. Let's look at a couple of photos here. Here's a pretty scene from Jan Eigenfeld. That is the DuPage County Airport there. DPA on your luggage tag. She's looking there at the sun going down, and I don't see any aircraft there, but this is one of the spots that we get regular weather reports from the West Chicago area. Thanks, Jan. Great looking sky there. And then from Al Heiss, we shared one of his sunrise pictures the other day. He's out there going down the slopes at Breckenridge, Colorado. That's Al there on the far right. And it looks like he had a beautiful day for skiing there with sunshine. Maybe a little bit of new snow there for you, too. Thank you all. And speaking of new snow, here it is hitting the city, covering the bean. We'll be back with more of Good Day after this.
Fox 30.
Welcome back. The FIFA World Cup is coming to the U.S. this summer. Teams representing a record high 48 different nations. They are set to play matches in 16 host cities across North America.
And that includes 6 matches in Kansas City, where they're prepping for visitors from around the world.
Yeah, this is super cool stuff. Oliviana Kalmes is there. And Oliviana, hotels filling up fast, I understand, and new properties are racing to open up in time for this.
They are, Anthony and Natalie. Tourism officials here say they are pumped that this area in the Midwest will see visitors from all over the country, but that means they've got to get ready, and they are filling up space very quickly. One guy I spoke to even renting out his own home to make space.
I will actually be moving back into my parents' basement. The opportunity is just so large here that it would be silly not to take advantage of it.
Not many things would make you eager to move back in with your parents, but renting out your home during the World Cup might. Kansas City is preparing for an estimated 600,000 visitors this summer.
Everyone's about to show up on our doorstep.
And with hotels booking up months in advance, space is becoming harder to find.
Everything is going to be booked. I mean, I would imagine there's going to be people in tents in the streets.
The local economic development group Visit KC says this area has about 36,000 hotel rooms, but World Cup officials have scooped some of them up.
There are hotels that have contracts with FIFA that are on lockdown right now.
Nelson says some of those rooms are still available for now, but that could change quickly.
It's certainly weekly meetings with hotels and the KC 2026 staff to make sure we're in front of everything. We haven't heard anyone say we're completely sold out.
One hotel under construction says they aim to open right before the first match.
And there'll be a cocktail lounge area, and then you'll pass a coffee shop.
The people behind it tell me the timing is tight.
It's exciting and scary at the same time because there's a good chance we'll have been open by just a week or two.
KC is the smallest of the 11 U.S. host cities, so the hotel owners say they expect many will be looking for rooms outside of the core city as well.
So it has to branch out to Topeka, Lawrence, even as far as Columbia.
Now might just be a good time to book if you're looking for a better deal.
A lot of people are last-minute buyers, but we do know that the demand is going to be more than the supply.
In order to make even more space, the city is offering a discount on short-term rental permits to make even more space before June, which is just coming up fast. I'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, it's a win-win for those people.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much, Oliviana. Well, back here at home, the Bears will look to keep their playoff run alive when they host the Rams on Sunday.
And big challenge here is slowing down the Rams offense. It's tops in the NFL. Bears coaches game planning a way to try to stop Matthew Stafford, who led the NFL in passing yards with over 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns. He is a front runner for league MVP. And he is also teamed up with one of the game's most respected coaches in Sean McVay, who talked about what he has seen thus far out of the Bears this season.
I think there's a belief that they've established, and I think when you have those types of successful outcomes, no different than Matthew the other day, I think he had full expectation to lead us down the field. I feel that when I watch Caleb and I watch that team. There's a belief that they can find ways to finish, and that's why they're in this situation. But he's going to be a nightmare to defend, and we're excited about diving into this prep because here we freaking go, man.
All right, make sure you tune in for Bears Game Day live on Sunday. It starts at 12:30 p.m. We will have the latest on injuries, headlines, all the important factors heading into the game. And then right after the game ends, tune in for Fox Chicago's post-game coverage. All right, time now, 7:47.
And here's some of the other headlines we're following for you this morning. Boeing has settled a lawsuit filed here in Chicago. The case was over the 2019 crash of a Boeing 737 MAX 8 on takeoff in Ethiopia. The plaintiffs were looking to hold Boeing liable for the deaths of several loved ones. The terms of that settlement have not been released.
Cicero police are searching for the person who shot and killed a 17-year-old boy. It happened last Thursday right near Morton East High School. Family members say the person who killed Johan Adari had been bullying him. We did reach out to the school district about those claims. We have yet to hear back.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson going after President Trump in his office over threats to withhold funding from sanctuary cities. The move comes as the Trump administration increases immigration enforcement nationwide. Mayor Brandon Johnson calls the move blatantly unconstitutional and immoral. It is snowing out there, you guys. It's really coming down over the city of Chicago. Just take a look at the bean.
Yeah, it is covered in a layer of frost, it looks like.
And then we also have
that's
a look.
snow. That is snow, guys.
I understand we also have a look from the greater Gurnee metropolitan area. This is Mike Kaplan's neck of the woods. This is I-94 north through Gurnee and Deerfield. The snow's been causing some headaches for drivers out there, Mike.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it looked like part of that might have been Grand Avenue near, I'm thinking maybe Almond Road there. In any event, this is heavy snow. I've got a picture I just posted on my Facebook page showing more than 2 inches down in the Gurnee-Wadsworth area.
Wow.
And this is definitely an overachiever. Hey, I got egg on my face. I did not expect this much snow to accumulate. Certainly thought we'd get at least a whitening of the ground out there, but this is doing a number, especially in the northern suburbs, and it's all headed south. Look at these winds. This is what's also magnifying the difficulty with travel this morning, is the fact that you're going to encounter snow falling with 40 to 50 mile-an-hour winds. Look at Gary, a 51 mile-an-hour wind, 52 mph are at Aurora. They just issued a ground stop at O'Hare for the snow, the reduction in visibility, and those 40-plus mile-an-hour winds. So this is a real mess out there this morning. Poor timing. The visibility numbers are lowest in this yellow shaded area, but even at Midway, it's only a half mile. Gary, a quarter mile. That snow area is sinking to the south, and the trend should be for the snow to be letting up in intensity over the next couple of hours from north to south. Winter weather advisory, all of southeast Wisconsin. Kind of surprised our local weather service didn't put something out for the impacts that we're having now. Point is, travel's going to be tricky here for the next couple of hours, and then we'll watch that lake effect go for parts of Porter County, LaPorte, and Berrien County over towards the South Bend area. Here's the snow area, which it really just kind of exploded in intensity here, where you see the dark blues. That's where the snow is heaviest, and that's crossing the city right now with a lighter variety of snow poised to come in later on. So we've got morning snow showers out there, and some spots are going to get maybe 3 inches out of this thing. Our high was 42. Now it's dropping, and we're seeing gusts to more than 40 miles per hour. Tonight, other than lake effect, it's just going to be cold, partly cloudy with a 15. 25 tomorrow. Some more light snow coming in Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously won't be snowing all the time, but temperatures well below normal. And some of the worst of it will be in the Bears game day with a high temperature of only 18 degrees.
Yikes. Okay. And yeah, that says it all. It's impacting traffic. All this weather will keep you posted as well on the ground stop, which is now in effect at O'Hare because of visibility issues. Couple of accidents as well. As you take a look at your drive times, which are way off the charts here, everything's in the red. On the inbound Dan Ryan, first of all, there is an accident at 47th Street. So the local lanes are partially blocked there. You might want to hop in the express lanes if you can. Okay, and also on southbound I-55 down near Bolingbrook on the outbound side of I-55, there's an accident. But your inbound drive times, no bueno. Look at those. 67 minutes inbound on the Kennedy from O'Hare, where there is a ground stop in effect right now to downtown. On the Eisenhower, a 78-minute ride between Route 390 and downtown. It's a mess out there. On the Stevenson, almost 70 minutes as well. You're well over an hour between I-355 and DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And look at the Dan Ryan. Again, 47th Street is where the accident happened on the inbound side there in the local lanes. You're at 56 minutes between 95th and downtown. What a mess. All right, at least 17 states, including Illinois, they are rejecting the CDC's scaled-back childhood vaccine schedule. Last week, 6 routine immunizations, including for the flu, rotavirus, and hepatitis both A and B, were reclassified for healthy children from broadly recommended down to based on physician consult. This group of states will instead rely on the previous recommendations of 17 vaccines.
More people are surviving cancer. That's according to new data released from the American Cancer Society. It shows 70% of people are now living at least 5 years after a cancer diagnosis, and that is the highest rate ever recorded. The report also finds major survival gains for some of the deadliest cancers, including lung, liver, and multiple myeloma.
The Supreme Court is hearing arguments in a landmark case that could shape the future of women's sports and transgender rights. Yesterday, the High Court heard two cases out of West Virginia and Idaho where transgender athletes say the state laws keep them out of school sports, and they claim that those laws violate Title IX, which was the high-profile federal law forbidding sex discrimination in education. The court's ruling will impact similar laws in more than 24 states.
A sport is something that everybody should have the opportunity to do if they want, and we should all be able to have that chance.
The justices will consider whether states can prevent biological males from competing on girls' sports teams in public schools and colleges. Those are the parameters of the case. Again, the High Court heard this case yesterday. The ruling itself is expected this summer.
Actor Kiefer Sutherland was arrested in Hollywood for allegedly threatening and getting into a physical altercation with a rideshare driver. Officers say the rideshare driver did not sustain any injuries that required medical attention. Sutherland was released on $50,000 bond.
A pivotal figure in the civil rights movement has died. Claudette Colvin, she was only 15 years old when she was arrested, like Rosa Parks, for refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. And it actually happened, that incident happened just months before Rosa Parks did the same thing, which sparked that massive bus boycott, which played a huge role in the civil rights movement. Later, Colvin's criminal record was expunged, streets were named after her, and the city of Montgomery enacted a day of recognition for her. She was 86 years old.
Back here at home, hours are being expanded at Illinois Secretary of State offices ahead of the TSA's new Real ID penalty that's taking effect. Starting February 1st, travelers will be charged $45 for not having a real ID, a passport, or other acceptable forms of identification. We do want to remind you there is a walk-in supercenter on North Clark, and that location's lease has been extended through the end of this year. We've got plenty more Good Day Chicago for you. We're so glad you're with us on this snowy Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up at 8 and 9. Keep it right here.
Their own bird.
New this morning, China's announcing its largest trade surplus ever. It is the world's largest, even after inflation. The $1.19 trillion surplus is a 20% increase from 2024. The record comes despite President Trump's tariffs on Chinese goods. Chinese factors made up the difference by ramping up sales to other regions.
Amazon is expected to call for lower payments to vendors for purchases on its site as a way to recoup losses it absorbed from those tariffs. The Supreme Court is expected to issue a major opinion on whether President Trump's tariffs on China and most of the world are constitutional. It could lead to a refund of nearly $150 billion to importers.
And rising beef and coffee prices are keeping grocery bills high. New data shows retail ground beef prices are up nearly 16%, while steaks are up 15% between January and December of last year. Meanwhile, coffee prices up 20%, despite reducing tariffs on Brazil late last year.
Higher health care costs are causing fewer sign-ups for the Affordable Care Act. New health data show at the start of 2026, about 800,000 fewer people enrolled for the Affordable Care Act compared to last year. That drop includes fewer new sign-ups and people not re-upping their plans.
Microsoft offering an olive branch